Hello, and welcome to our explainer on inheritance and harmony, navigating the family home divide. This process almost always starts with the very best of intentions. A family gathers around, and someone says, well, we need to figure out what to do with the house. And then, pretty quickly, it becomes clear that not everyone has the exact same answer. If you're in the middle of this right now, I just want to validate your experience for a moment. This situation sits right at the messy intersection of grief, money, shared history, and complex family dynamics. So let's take a breath and unpack how to navigate this really delicate transition together. There is a quote that really hits the nail on the head here. The disagreement rarely starts with the house itself. It starts with everything the house represents. Because think about it, to one sibling, this isn't just drywall and floorboards. It's the family home where literally every major milestone happened. To another, it's a significant financial asset that needs to be managed. And to a third, it might just be an ongoing expense they desperately want resolved. And the thing is, none of these positions are wrong. But when they collide around the kitchen table, especially when grief is still so fresh, things can get difficult really quickly. If you are feeling overwhelmed, please know that it is completely normal. In fact, according to AARP's research, disagreements over inherited property are actually among the most common sources of lasting family conflict. These disagreements are rarely ever purely financial. They are emotional first and practical second. Just understanding that simple fact is your very first step toward finding some harmony.
Let's move into Section 1, the 4 most common points of conflict.
The first and undoubtedly the most common divide we see is the sell versus keep conflict. On one side, you might have a sibling who wants to sell the property and divide the proceeds, viewing it strictly as a practical financial asset. On the other side, another sibling deeply wants to hold on to it, maybe for sentimental reasons, or perhaps because they just aren't emotionally ready to let go yet. Without a really clear agreement, this specific conflict can actually stall a property in legal limbo for years.
And that usually bleeds into 3 other major areas of friction. First is what we call the equity question. If one sibling was the primary caregiver or maybe paid for the upkeep, they often feel entitled to a larger share. Next is timeline tension. One person might need the financial proceeds fast, while another isn't emotionally ready to move at any speed at all. Finally, condition and contents. Deciding who gets the family photos or who pays for a new roof. These might sound like minor details to an outsider, but they can generate enormous, painful friction for the family. Okay, Section 2, the legal landscape here in Illinois. When a parent passes, a lot of what happens next depends heavily on exactly how the property was titled. Illinois actually has a very helpful legal tool for this called a transfer on death instrument, or a TODI for short. This allows the property to transfer directly to the named beneficiaries, bypassing probate court entirely. It's much faster, it's far less expensive, and it creates a clean legal transfer directly to the heirs. But what happens if the heirs absolutely, literally cannot agree? Well, Illinois law provides a mechanism called a partition action. This allows a co-owner to formally petition the court to force the sale of the jointly owned property. Now, this is a costly, emotionally damaging last resort. However, simply knowing this law exists often motivates families to sit down and find their own harmonious solution before the courts have to step in.
Which brings us to Section 3, practical steps to harmony.
So, how do families successfully navigate this? Well, they tend to share a few proven approaches. Step 1, bring in a neutral third party early. A mediator or an experienced real estate professional can completely shift the tone of the room. Step 2, separate the emotional conversation from the practical one. We've seen families hold one gathering purely to share memories and a completely separate one for financial planning. It instantly de-escalates the tension. And steps 3 and 4 are absolutely vital. Step 3 is getting a professional valuation before anyone starts negotiating. So many family conflicts escalate simply because nobody actually knows what the property is worth. Establishing an independent, realistic market value ensures the conversation becomes immediately grounded in facts rather than assumptions or guesswork. And this is exactly where a senior real estate specialist, or an SRES, comes in. They bring a really unique combination to the table: real estate expertise paired with a deep, empathetic understanding of the emotional weight these decisions carry. They provide an honest picture of the local market, like right here in the Chicago area, and create a process that actually feels manageable. If you do decide to sell, an SRES acts as that one calm, neutral point of contact, which keeps siblings from pulling the process in a dozen different directions. I want to make sure you have the right tools in your hands right now. We have a free resource library designed specifically to support homeowners over 50 and their adult children. It includes a really practical guide called Managing Conflict When Selling a Parent's Home. It is an incredible starting point, and you can find it right on our Homeowners 50 Plus page. No pressure, just helpful guidance when you need it. Every family navigating this conversation deserves good information and genuine support. If you are in the middle of this right now, please hear me. You do not have to figure it out alone. Empathetic, professional guidance is always here for you when you're ready to take that next step. I want to leave you with this final thought as you move forward. What is the legacy you want your family home to leave behind for your relationships? One of division or one of lasting harmony? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I wish your family the absolute best in your transition.